I'm at Cumberland Gap National Historical Park. I'm here at the Pinnacle Lookout, and behind me is a town that's entirely inside of a meteor crater. I'm here at the Cumberland Gap National Park. Today I'm headed up to the Pinnacle. Gonna do the Ridge Trail. I've got a couple of days here. I've never really been here, just through the tunnel a couple of times. So anxious to see what this park has to offer. Right now, I'm at the Pinnacle Lookout. I'm gonna be on the Ridge Trail today. I'm gonna stay at Gibson Campsite. Gibson Gap Campsite, that's what it is. So join me out here today. I'm on the Ridge Trail, 1.7 to Lewis Hollow. Gibson Gap Campsite is beyond that. I'm gonna take a detour off this Ridge Trail. It's 1.7 to Wilderness Campground. I'm not going all the way, but about halfway or so is a cave. So I'm gonna go check that out. Sunlit Cave was definitely worth the steep little hike down, but now I've got to go back up. Nice little stream though through here, mountain laurels. Nice place to get water. Back up to the Ridge Trail. That was pretty steep. Looks like I'm gonna go up over here. So I'm gonna take a little break, catch my breath, and enjoy this wonderful scenery. Here at Cumberland Gap, they only have 5 backcountry campsites. And I found out this morning that 3 of those 5 are closed due to aggressive bear activity. So I only had 2 to choose from. So tonight's campsite is Gibson Gap, and I'm here early. It's I got here a little after 3:30, but the sun goes down about 5:30, so it's not terribly early. A lot earlier than I'm used to, but it's gonna get cold tonight, so I'll probably just make it an early night anyway. I am doing things a little bit differently, so I'll go over that in a little bit. But first things first, there's a water trail and I want to go get some water. So let's go see what that means. This is all that's left of the spring. It's oozing out of there, just not very fast at all. And this little puddle here is just a few inches deep, but I can skim it off the top. Just takes a little time. Tastes fun. $37 degrees right now. I think the low tonight is around 26, 27. This is kind of a new piece of gear here. Gives you the low in a 24-hour period and the current temperature. This is great for testing gear. And then this is the first time out with this. This is the Nightcore Tiki. This thing is 300 lumens. Has 2 settings, a low and a high. I'm not sure what the low setting, I don't remember how many lumens that is, but my headlamp I think is around 360. So this thing is pretty darn bright. So I'm gonna try that out tonight. Excited about that. Got some wood together. And there was already a little bit here, so I added my portion. Nothing much left to do, really. Just get some dinner together. So it's still kind of early. So I'll hang around camp here a little bit. Enjoy this scenery. The sun is beautiful. Got homemade and home dehydrated beans and rice. This time with like a spicy sausage. So it's the first time dehydrating that. See how that goes. A little bit of Fritos to go with that. Looking forward. This is one of my favorite meals. Another amazing dinner. Sausage, beans, and rice with Fritos. Now that I've gotten my tarp put away, I want to show you what I did differently. I've got, first of all, the Mylar space blanket as my ground sheet. I wanted to check the durability of that. I've heard some varying reports. So far, so good. I didn't really notice any extra heat or anything like that. But and the other thing is I didn't use my bivvy. There's no bug pressure right now. And although the bivvy would give me a couple more degrees probably and a little more wind protection, I opted against it. So this quilt setup, DIY, will get me down to probably around 20. So I'd really like to test that someday. But now I'm gonna get things put together and head out on the Ridge Trail. Should be a good day. I've got Hensley Settlement, Sand Cave, and White Rock Overlook. Not to mention the White Rock campsite. Here's the spring house, and you can get water. Just left the Hensley settlement. Now it's on to Sand Cave and then eventually White Rocks, overlook and campsite. So 5.5 miles total. Coming up to the Sand Cave turn off here, 0.2 mile. You can see the two layers of the sandstone. The top has the conglomerate and the bottom does not. Getting back to the trail from the Sand Cave trail. Wow, that's pretty amazing. I like that. I can only imagine on a hot summer day how nice it would feel down there. That water was ice cold, refreshing. So back on the ridge trail here, White Rocks is 1.1. So another early day. It's just after 2 o'clock. I've got 1.1 mile to the overlook. Then you come back just a little bit. So maybe 1.5 miles total to go see the overlook and head back to camp, something like that. It's been a great day so far. A little lower in mileage, nice relaxing, a lot of sights to see. Starting to think about what I'm gonna have for dinner. One of my favorite parts of backpacking, thinking about food. Getting closer to the overlook and the campsite. It's a few tenths of a mile. Just came back from White Rocks Overlook, 0.3 that way. So now it's just 0.2 to the campsite. Coming into the camp right now, White Rocks campsite here at Cumberland Gap. Really not a lot of level ground, so I'm kind of surprised. This site's nice. It's up a little high, away from the bear cables, but I think it's gonna get dark here pretty soon because the sun is just going down below that ridge. So lost a little bit of daylight because of that, but gotta get some chores done. All right, with camp all set up, I'm gonna go scrounge around, see what I can get for some firewood. Last night's fire was nice. I haven't had a fire in a long time, and it was cold. Great flavor, great ingredients. Pinnacle Foods, thank you. Day 3. It was an early start today. Got a long day, about 19 miles. Basically heading back now on the Ridge Trail. Coming up to the Hensley settlement again. This time I'm only going as far as Gibson Gap, and then I'll veer off there at the Gap. On the Ridge Trail, back at Gibson Gap. That was camp on the first night. Nice little camp. I might take a little break here. But here's where I leave the Ridge Trail. Just came down this way today on the Ridge Trail. A couple days ago, I came up that way on the Ridge Trail. But now, back here at Gibson Gap, I am going to take the Gibson Gap Trail down to the Wilderness Road Campground. It's 4.8. I'm gonna leave this ridge, go back down to the low ground, and at the campground, I'm gonna catch another trail. And I'm saving the best of this trip for last. So far, the trails here at the park have been great. Pretty well maintained and steep, that's for sure. The Ridge Trail is pretty tough, and all the trails to kind of get up to that Ridge Trail are tough. They are very steep, but it's to be expected. The whole reason for this park, and the reason I'm here right now, is this very trail right here. This is the Wilderness Road Trail and the Boone Trail. The Wilderness Road was originally a buffalo path made by migrating buffaloes going to the salt licks in Kentucky. The Indians used that to get across the mountains, and it became known as the Warrior's Path. It was an easy way to cross over. And of course, when the settlers got here, they used that as well. Daniel Boone was known to go through the Gap many times on his long hunts out in Kentucky. So a company decided they could sell property over there, and they needed a road to get settlers over. So they hired a group of people to widen the road. The leader of those of those people was none other than Daniel Boone. And since the opening of this road, hundreds of thousands of American settlers passed through here. Some of my descendants, undoubtedly. This is the original gateway to the West, right here. It's a real piece of American history and American treasure. This is it. I'm standing in the historic Cumberland Gap. Looking into Virginia. Looking into Kentucky. And I'm back. This is where I turned off to go to Pinnacle when I first started. So now it's just down to Object Lesson Road. That's just about gonna wrap up here. 2 nights, 2.5 days, Cumberland Gap Historical Park. This is a great place. I think it's a little overlooked oftentimes. A lot of history, a lot of great scenery, a lot of squirrels. I've had a great time. I'm not sure what the miles are. I'll add them up and put it down below. But I recommend this park. Get out here and support your National Park Service and the history at the Cumberland Gap. And if you don't know about Daniel Boone, look him up. That's some amazing history right there. And this is part of not only his American history, but a greater American history. So thanks for watching. Get out there and explore.